Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition of your favorite morning program, wherever you are. Thank you very much for always tuning in to this program. This is the Thursday edition, and I'm with Julde Jai. Good morning, Julde. How are you?
Good morning, Ibrahim.
How have you been?
I've been great.
Alhamdulillah.
I've been really great.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Mr. Mamadou Mboj, how have you been?
He's good. If I'm good, he is good.
Yeah. I was going to say that and you said you're great. I said I was greater, but
Frenemies.
yes, that's it. When you're good, I'm good.
Right.
You're correct.
That's right.
All right.
And what about you, Mr. Balde?
Alhamdulillah.
Good.
I am fine.
Praise
So
be
good
to
Yes,
Allah.
praise be to Allah.
Yeah.
Thank God. So we are back, and on the program we'll take a look at the African Code, the newspaper review with Mr. Mamadou Mboj.
Right.
Then later we will be engaging school teacher, staffed by female student. Augustus A. Mende, Principal Yunus English School. This is a tragedy. Should we call it a tragedy?
Yes.
We'll also be talking to Mopsy Bass performers
Yeah.
of explicit lyrics. Okay. All right. It's talking about the
banning of
recent banning
Yeah.
of. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Adama Jimbo Job, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Programs, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education would be here.
Yes.
And the Owl Gambia team would also be on the program. They'll be talking about their annual gala. Yeah, so Julia, let's take a look at the code. And this is a very funny code.
It is an interesting one.
Very funny.
Bala ñoo door ma ne Mr. Mbodj, for instance, ma door ko nii rek. Xam nga ñu séparé ñu rek affaire bi lii.
Wow.
But anyway, we will come to that.
Absolutely, that's what it's talking about. Actually. Go on.
So our African code this morning is nothing hurts more than receiving the last slap when being separated in a fight. Imagine man ak Mr. Mbodj rek ñu ngi xeex rek.
Mahar be nga am sa benn bu baax.
bu
Rek ma ñëw ma téye leen ma ne la Mr. Mbodj yow góor nga.
Dañu dee
meeting
kay
boobu noonu dañ di ànd ak moom foofu.
Am nga man suma aate yow lay téye.
That's it. So more meaty. That's just really the difficult one.
Yeah.
That final blow when
That's
you
right.
really cannot fight back.
Right.
Absolutely. It's never going to be over. You know that sooner or later I'll be back. So essentially that's what it is, isn't it? Unresolved stuff. That final painful blow when you're vulnerable, it really hurts. That hurts.
But to avoid those things, there are circumstances where one can avoid receiving a final blow before a separation. You can put that into any situation. You have to avoid getting involved into certain things that will snatch your mental peace.
Right.
To be very careful on what to do generally in life.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure whether you can prepare for every possible contingency that can happen. Sometimes
It's inevitable.
it's inevitable, really. Sometimes you're just on the receiving end of some of these blows, as it were.
Yeah.
It depends on how do you handle them when they take place, but you just can't avoid it all the time.
That's
life
right.
doesn't
Sometimes
work like
they
that.
will come and,
sometimes, yeah. Life doesn't work like
Yeah,
that.
I had a scenario like that yesterday. Julde dang doon dégg rek sa broda bi fay na moto mi si diggi yoon bi ma wàcca ma fight ba suma yaram tànga ma ñëw dugga ñëw def this morning
My brother melon.
benn boy la jaaykat yi comme ay lifini tissue paper yi nii si yoon bi nii si yoon bi am na lu daanu so man réalise ma ko gis naa lu daanu de waaye I didn't realize ne si kanami tali bi la loolu ñëw moom tam waxut ma taxawal understand nga mu bàyyee ko noonu rek man ma ñëw ma romba so man mooy bu ma rombee ba pare ma gis si seetu bi ma xool si seetu bi nii ma gis ko muy daw di ñëw mu ñëw rek fekk ma fu ma taxaw yow taxawuloo suma affaire lifin baa ngi daanu ba pare taxawuloo
gisuloo ko
ma ne ko ne dama gis affaire bi fu mu dem
am na ñu tànga de
tey si suba sax bu ma ko gisee mu ngi taxaw si yoon yow ma wàññi suma tànka man ko yow di ma dang ma bugg a yeb mu ne ma ne xam nga affaire bi dafa daanu ni mu nooyal ko man ko ne foofu la def ma def suma yoon
That is an interesting one. Why come no len ko waxe rek interpretation bi the final blow, especially when it is unexpected, is always hurtful because da nga wax ne oh my god lu tax kii mu lii so da nga feel ne even though yow si fight bi yow yaa ko doon jéeku and everything waaye for the fact ne moom moo am the final blow yow loolu noonu du la dee mën a lii like you can't take that for the fact ne final blow bi yow yaa ko lii so it goes to show that when you are defenseless, you know, something unexpected happen, or in your most vulnerable state, you know, nga receive certain shocking news and everything. That's like a weak law. It comes also with victory. For instance, when someone thinks that, okay, you have failed, come doko musa make and all of that, and all of a sudden, unexpectedly, you achieve something big, it comes as a blow to them. Because wow, they don't expect it.
You know, boy, bal saraka mu free. Every time they chokas raka bi. Na la door, na la ñef, na la lifin, na la def lu graw. You know, boy, mak, du japo ak raka, bay ko. Bena bes nak mistake ne mu téye raka bi
door ko. Xam nga loolu was unexpected.
Bu ñëwee ñu andi ko.
Foog loolu.
Ñu dugal ci digante bi. Understand nga? Fekk moom moo si dugal boppam.
That's right.
Understand nga?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be doing those things.
Man nag fii suma focus, my emphasis here, because of Nico guy free me, you know, that slap that really hurts when you're being separated. So Mary you daf dee yaaga de. So fuma am injustice.
Yes.
Yes.
Betrayal.
The resentment that they last a long time.
Right.
So man maa ngi focus on the injustice really of the situation. Xam nga ñu ngi leen di aate, you know, the literal sense of this proverb.
Right.
Ñu ngi leen di aate, xëy na ñu ngi ko téye yow lañ téye rek mu pok la. You aate leen. You know that you're not going to forget that resentment. It will last a long time. So suma nekkee the situation xëy na ma avoid injustice. They plant the seeds of resentment, perhaps, or hatred for a very long time. And this person will come back for me.
Absolutely.
Sooner or later.
And much stronger.
The humiliation of certain situations,
right.
So that's it, exactly. So I'm taking that angle, as it were.
Yeah, there are certain things in life, comme suñ la ko defee, you can't just forget it. If you don't pay back, you cannot forget it. You can't heal. Foka feekulo. And in most cases, so they could have they meet it. Because then the person that does that to you, muna am faten and elila la def. Why you so could have they meet it? Because you're all that you're thinking of is ki lila ma defon. Lila ma meet you do ko fate. So it's like you're dang they do extra. So la defe, you know, so then the pain be is minimal. Your load def it's more painful. So mota is very important to pay attention to how you make people feel, how you treat people. Because at the end of the day, I'm not you know, but there are certain people, so if they don't take revenge on you, they don't forget.
Well,
and revenge is always very hurtful.
Well, when things are unresolved.
Yeah. You can't
That's it. So that's like an unresolved conflict.
Yeah.
So, you know, breed more.
That's right.
More of the same, as it were, in the future. So it's a very interesting one.
It is. It is an interesting
So what do you do after I receive that last slap?
I think patience.
That's a very
patience. Wow.
Sabr.
Go plan.
Munyal, right?
Munyal.
Wow. No, I don't
Well,
think
if you know you cannot muny, go patiently, be patient with it. Munyal, plan al better and come back.
Well, I think there are ways to resolve those things without fight. You just handle it maturely, right? Okay, this happened. Understand nga? So man dama delu to retaliate again, it's still going to create a lot of chaos.
Exactly.
I know you, Ballet. The slightest doubt. Now, if you were in a similar situation, when we sit here and we talk about these things, it's just so easy. The moral high ground, what they call the moral high ground. I'll just forget about it. I'll just, you know, you will do the right thing.
One thing.
But life doesn't work like that.
I'm not physical fight.
Wow.
am na emotional fight. Emotional fight moo nekk nga di stop someone emotionally based on what you do, sa actions, maybe your progress, your achievements, and all of that. Defante dafa bari façon. It's not always about, okay, yow mun nga ma blow physically, nga door ma, mun na hari ma, but man, suma feye ko can be emotional. And that is more detrimental. So xam nga, da nga strategize rek. Yeneen yi wax du ko faj, you know, physically du ko dee faj. So da nga strategize.
I'll come back, man.
I know you will come back.
You'll always
I know
come
you
back.
will always come back. Mr.
Boy,
Mbodj, dama tooñ fi Mr. Mbodj. Can you imagine? Ma teg ne fàtte naa ko. The following day lu ma dee def moo dee gannaaw miiti loolu noonu. Te xam naa ne man ak yow frenemies lañ. Waaye wax naa la lu ma la wax. Loolu du ma ko bàyyi man tamit xam nga wax naa la.
Absolutely. This kind of humiliation, I'm coming back for you.
So at this point, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will take a look at the newspapers. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Gilabila radiallahu anha wadi noddingol folongol e islam noddingol tawa e diine men on julɓe ɓen noddinte ɗoye ɓe yahude ɓe juula enen fof daroɗen dula goto si tawi ka jogiɗo ma ala fof juula laaɓi joyi e ñallal ngal aji banque limited no welti fi tawede laaɓi tati oɗo agent compétition fi ɓe dépensamo ɓe ɓeydanamo doole ɗum ɗo ko fi tun hoolagol ko wonɗen kon ha para yiɗa daro fonka ko annduɗa ɗum ɗon woni ko hawti en kon ɗum woni hoolagol ha para noon kadi noddingol fi juulen awa tawe ɗum ɗo joni an kadi ɓeydita hen e sengo ko annduɗa ko ɗum woni noddingol waɗu vidéo joni nulda e whatsapp hara hiɗa noddina e oɗon number 3373555 ɗo e balɗe 30 e go'o lewru décembre 2025 meɗen jogui yimɓe ɓe annduɗa hiɓe jogui gandal ko kamɓe darata te noon kadi min noddoya on ɗo ka QTV fi wawa yiide poɗodiron e ko ɓuura andirede e final on fi wawon yiide on gagnike te noon ɓe jonniray ko annduɗa ko ɗum woni certificate ji mbuuɗi kañum kadi e piiji boyi 2026 national agent competition ko aji banque dépense ɗum aji banque yo investment park
حي على الصلاة.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to some of the stories on the newspapers. I think we have a list of them here. Julde, yes. So take us through.
I'll start with Foroya.
Yes, let's start with the Foroya.
Parliament confronts Digital Economy Minister on Gamtal takeover.
Gamcel, yay borom.
Ilayo,
Nama nañ ko de. Gamcel.
How makuko nama, I don't know.
No,
Manay,
no,
manay,
nama nañ,
because
nama nañ.
I've never used the service.
No,
I wouldn't
not
know.
the
I
service.
wouldn't know.
Why Gamcel, yay borom. I'm talking about commercial
okay,
aspect
alright.
of it. When they used to do that. Gamcel,
Yay
yay borom.
I don't know where that
Yeah, loolu lañ nama.
Send adverts.
Loolu lañ nama. But you know, there was a time Gamcel you cannot nama them because dang de muna talk 1 week do am network. Man buma nekkee base time boobu noonu 1 week. Duma de danga dégg ñu ne la Gamcel network dem na. Xanaa ba léegi people are still using it. Is it on?
People are still using it. People are still using Gamcel.
Cell networks, they are still working.
There are people that are still using Gamcel. How man, it's still working or not because I'm not using it. But I know that there are people who are still
So
using
now
it.
the idea is to privatize it, is it?
Yes, yes. I think they've already, done that. They've already done that.
So what does the headline say again?
It says Parliament scrutinize something. Parliament confronts Digital Economy Minister on Gamcel takeover.
All right. Are there any
on
issues
that.
regarding the takeover? Possibly there are certain talking points regarding the
Exactly.
takeover. Absolutely. We don't like privatizing certain things.
But what is
isn't it?
happening with our state-owned enterprises, Mr. Mbodj?
Well, I'm the issue on performance contracts. You see, they're trying to come up with initiatives that would make them deliver more than they do right now.
Yeah.
So this is it. Yes, whatever issues there are, when I'm in for privatization, for some of them, I'm the certain services, so it's called privatizing. That's when really
it works.
I'm the best chance of some efficiency,
Right.
isn't it? Because you lay certain conditions, where you have to deliver, otherwise there are penalties to pay, stuff like that with the private institution or entity. Whereas with the public one, we tend to be so slack.
You know, when you have a sense of ownership,
well, it's different.
Okay,
Yes, exactly.
you know, you know part of it, so you will handle it well. But when you know, okay, it belongs to everybody, even if it didn't work, the government have subvention for it, so it will not work.
I know somebody very high up in the public sort of establishment, bureaucracy. Wow, dara. I'm this lackadaisical attitude, very disappointed, as it were, with how public institutions work. But that's the key. I'm certain key services, privatize them. Man, as the owner of a company, contract to offer the service.
Right.
Man, I'll make sure that my people work. Otherwise, maybe there will be penalties if I can offer the right service.
That's right.
I'm somebody actively supervising what I do, because he will stand to lose. While the public stuff ken ko dan ko de gis ci mbéda mi sa nit def lu wrong ci tali bi ngeen ko please you nga def li mën la ya ko mom. That's exactly the classic attitude ñun liñ am ak public space, public institutions. Yo ya ko mom, yo yale. It's an extraordinary mindset, as it were, between us and the public stuff, really. So, man privatized government.
Why? Then look at the issue of privatization, Mr. Mbodj. There are two sides of a coin, right? Naka lañ ko defé? The method being used, is it the state, are we benefiting more, or is the private sector benefiting more? How is the contract? Nakala deme and all of that. I think it's very important to look at that, because today in a 50-40 la, well a 60-40. At the same time, you get loose.
I'm not sure. Okay.
Okay.
Lenga oye 60-40. Okay. I'm 60, state be I'm 40. Yes?
Right.
Granted. Well, imagine all time be more neka a public institution,
Right.
you don't receive 20 or 30. So, linko privatize, improve na. You receive more.
Yeah.
So, here we are afraid, when you privatize, then whatever services will be offered, the fair share.
Right.
You see, this is really the bias we have. The fair share, profits, like they're only for profits and all the rest of it. But it simply depends on what kind of contract you have, one, at the regulatory body. See, this is key to any privatization, the regulatory body. See, it has to work. That is really the heart of it, exactly.
Why haven't you and I know the issue of regulation in this country? It's a problem.
Granted, why? The idea itself, smoko privatize it the right way, I'm the regulatory body, I'm the right regulation, enforce,
And
the
the
benefit,
right
that sort of thing.
Right.
Well, as a people, so far, it appears that we really cannot run institutions efficiently. Really?
If we are just
For a
to
very long
privatize
time,
whatever we have.
It appears that we are not very good with running institutions efficiently. Study after study reveal all sorts of things. We are woeful when it comes to implementing policy. We can write all sorts of things. We are beautiful writers. While yet implementing, that's an issue. Perhaps, Limalake privatization, moi kimom, whatever the private entity, well, you need to deliver, otherwise there are penalties. So circumstances will force you to deliver, otherwise you lose whatever contract, you know, stuff like that. So there certain things we must privatize. Funja, the blinkers, we've got these blinkers, as it were, against privatization. We must bring down the blinkers, then you said, the full institutions get efficient. Really, that's the beginning of any development, isn't it?
Anyway, it is
Mr.
what it is,
Mbodji.
Dal. From Nekani,
affaire
I
yi
think we will need to dig deep
Yes.
to know exactly, you know, what is at stake and all of
What
that.
we dig deep.
So
I
the
just need
government
I just need a
director to
courageous
lift price,
leader. I just need a brave, courageous leader who would dare do certain things.
okay, so the government directs Pura to lift price floor on cell phone data.
Oh, okay. Still, they're still on that.
That's interesting. The government directs Pura.
Yeah.
See, something like Pura, the institution for autonomous, operational stuff, policy stuff, it's a government thing. Policy, yep, government minister and all of that. But with institutions like that, operationally, they must be autonomous. When you receive instructions from government, how do you run operationally? Some institutions, even the Human Rights Commission, we talked about, the police, the institutions, very really, bring efficiency, autonomy. You use brains and judgment, the definitely what a def. Once instructions, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe in a state of emergency, granted, but I'm not so sure about that. Maybe we need the details there. Why the idea of governments giving instructions, man, I don't like that too much. Man, don't my political interference. Whereas I'm the head of the institution, who must use his judgment, I'm the expertise, not receiving instructions from your political masters. They should be the political servants, really, but they've turned themselves into masters.
It's supposed to be an independent body.
Exactly, that's the autonomy. You need your institutions when you that autonomy to work efficiently. For these instructions, then maybe government and give back. No. First, then could they interpret as something benign, something good. And the government be stopped now, and you need for the government for what power. And our mindset about authority.
So you're telling me we have a long way to go.
Obviously.
As far as this is how we run our things.
How we run institutions? Oh my God, what do you mean long way? We've only had 60 years of independence. That's absolutely nothing. Maybe you need 150 years, maybe, to develop deep-rooted institutions can run well.
So, Mr. Bush, 150 years, we will be able to achieve it with this type of attitude and system.
No, because with time, I think with time, everything evolves. Can stay still? Nothing stays still. Things are always moving. The question, I'm not direct. To what extent do I have control over what is going on? You're moving in that direction, them or not. Nobody can stand still. Nobody stays still. Nothing stays still at all. So how much you are controlling things, that is really what the issue is. So, 60 years, Barrywood boy. Maybe we need 100 years. You want to start to run our institutions. Maybe.
But in a Barrywood,
that's in the life of a nation.
Infrastructure, the right people in place, strong institutions. I mean, we can do it. Singapore, I'm the independence the same year.
Different histories. Absolutely different histories.
Right.
Lee Kuan Yew, actually a Chinese minority. Am own ethnic people, completely different histories, So maybe it was easier for Lee Kuan Yew. I do not know. Like certain cultural issues. Colonialism, the humiliation, the denigration, attacking us in certain ways. So the completely different histories, different outcomes in many ways.
That's right.
Yeah.
So still on the photo, you have National Human Rights Commission finds progress in detention conditions and highlights gaps. Then nga am fee, the same Foroya Rights Commission chairman says human rights are daily realities, not abstract ideals.
Yes, they are not. So they may wear protests for whatever police in your arrest law. There's nothing abstract in that.
Right.
It's very real. Yes, yes, human rights, they're never abstract. That is true.
Interesting times. But I'm glad that they find progress in detention conditions.
Things were so bad
Yeah.
from reports in that, you know, so in prison situations. When you get to the bottom of the barrel, then the only way is up. You have to improve. You have to come up somehow.
That's right.
Yes, let's just keep on trying.
So I'm a message. Bohamne is one of our followers. I am against Pira's flaw and equally against government interference, as they are mostly politically motivated directives to please the public. So we need strong institutions and independent mindset. And worst, the government has put the reputation of the reputation. Okay, he deleted that message. He deleted the message while I was reading.
Okay.
Okay, the government has put the reputation of the regulator at stake.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. And what Pura did, the floors, be it the ceiling or the floor, what can it do? We've seen other institutions do what Pura had just done. We've seen it in Ghana, seen it in Nigeria. It depends on the circumstances.
Right.
Because all the time you should have really the consumer, you know, of these services, these products. You should have the interest of the consumer at heart, where you see that perhaps you need to impose a floor or a ceiling, you do so. So what Pura did wasn't unique.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't unique. Circumstances determine, you know, what kind of solutions you're going to use.
That's
So
right.
it's not about that. But I understand the fact that sort of the government giving instructions, that aspects I'm not that comfortable about. We want from the government the policies. The bigger stuff, these are the policies. So operationally, how are you going to implement them? You really do not want the government to tell you that. So operational, we must separate the operational from the policy level and maintain the dignity, the autonomy of these institutions. That's how they function more efficiently. That's what we've seen.
Yeah, so, I mean,
It is what it is. Do we
mild
still
to,
have...
mild
Well,
to
it
prison
is
sold
what
to
you make
GPA,
it.
mild to prison,
To some extent, it
mild
is
to
what you make
prisons,
it.
I mean, sold to GPA, the Gambia Ports Authority. Probably they want to relocate the prison. There was a time we invited Luke Jata, the public relation officer of the Gambia Prison Services. He said they are building a new prison is on the pipeline.
Yeah, but I remember when we discussed it, so we were wondering, what are you talking about here? Yeah, you may build new prisons, but does that mean that with Mile 2 it will stop being a prison, be something else? So I'm not so sure what
But
they
now,
mean by that.
now selling it to GPA, it means that environment, Mile 2, will not be there anymore. It's in the custody of GPA.
Well, we do not know the conditions under which this is being sold, so I'm not sure what I can tell you there. But whatever they mean, you know, with Julia, remember we talked about it earlier,
yeah.
and we said that still, whatever they do, sell it, build new ones, but operationally, still you're going to have the prison services
That's
there.
right.
You're not going to have GPA staff coming to do operationally what they're doing.
Yeah.
Are you just selling the land? And then what happens? I just do not know.
Mr. Mboj, obviously they are just selling the land.
Exactly.
You know?
So yeah, there's no
Yeah, but I
issue.
mean, it's the newspaper headline here saying Mile 2 prison sold to GPA. So it's a bit confusing. We want to know what happened.
Yeah.
Is it the land? GPA want to expand,
obviously,
you know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
obviously,
But
you should know.
why selling it? Maybe we need more details. Why the need to sell? What's the reasoning? What's the reasoning? What's the reasoning behind it?
Ports Authority and also the Gambia
Yeah,
Prison
maybe we can engage the public.
Absolutely.
relation.
Absolutely. What's the reasoning behind selling it? You know, what purpose do we want to achieve by doing that and that sort of thing? So we need a lot of, there are a few questions we need answers to before we can form a judgment.
That's
as it
right.
were,
Yeah.
you know?
The other day they were talking about decongesting the juvenile wing at Joshua, you know. So this reminds me, oh wow, to decongest the juvenile wing, then it means most of these youngsters are sent to prison very early, you know. And I think the conditions there as well should be looked at. I mean, you know, talking to people that visited the place will tell you how, I mean, dilapidated that place is, and you have juveniles there.
Yeah.
Well, juveniles do commit crimes. Anywhere you go, you will have the juvenile wing. This is really what we face right now because of the explosion in the youth population. So you will have the dividend. You know what I mean? The advantages, the benefits that will bring the energy, the numbers, and maybe even being innovative, you know, the stuff that we associate with youth in that positive way. But again, the other side of the coin here would be what they call the ticking time bomb. Possibly a good number of them might become criminals as well. There are so many. Are you going to provide jobs for them? So we're facing sort of two possible scenarios here. Perhaps they will be intermingling, you know. You will have the brilliant stuff that youth will do, but again, you may have the nasty, the underbelly of, you know, those who are not doing that, what they will do. So dividend or ticking time bomb. So I'm not surprised there that you're going to have that. But what do you do with them once you take them to prison? Are you going to have, because they're young, then perhaps one may have a strong regime that would try to reform them, you know, given their youth and that sort of thing. So what are you going to do once you get them? In the next, I don't know, generation or so, things will be quite interesting in Africa, really, all of us. Because you see that, 65, 70% of the population being under 35 or so, we are so youthful. We are the most youthful continent, really. So it will be interesting to see what we do with that, you know?
That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have more time for
Any more
newspapers or
stories?
Yeah, let's still soldier arrested for negligent discharge of weapon.
Negligent
Discharge of weapon.
What does that mean?
Probably it wasn't on safety.
Here we are hypothesizing again. we need to get the facts.
Yeah, all right. So appointed Minister of Trade. Maud K.C. appointed Minister of Trade.
Yes, there's been some kind of reshuffle,
yes, yesterday.
Movements about. Yes, he was former chief of protocol, economist. Now he's gone to trade. It will be interesting to interview him and see what ideas he will bring to the ministry. And then we have now Aliu Loom, isn't it, as chief of staff. Chief of staff, chief of staff. That was what Maud K.C. was. So how is he going to do it differently? Well, when I hear about these reshuffles, then you wonder, what's the purpose? Do you want to stimulate, bring some more stimulation to these sectors, these departments, whatever, these different areas? And does it really happen? We've had a few reshuffles in the past.
Right.
Which just didn't make any difference, did it? I do not know.
That's it.
So it will be interesting. Perhaps if one were to talk to the president or whoever and ask, why did you make this change? What outcomes do you wish to achieve? What's going to happen here? I do not know. You just don't want it to be simply musical chairs.
And we also have to know how other ministers are doing into their various ministries. Remember when they appointed Juf as the Minister of
Trade?
From Trade.
You mean Ismaila?
Ismaila
They moved him to Minister of Defense, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's defense, yes.
Yeah.
It's defense.
So you can see how people, okay, he doesn't have any defense background. How can he be appointed a minister? You understand? So after engaging few people, what they said, okay, you don't need the background to understand how things work. All that you need is an administrative background. Most of these ministers, what they do is administrative.
Yeah, you
understand?
The technocrats.
Actually,
PS, permanent.
I disagree with the
PS.
ministers doing the administrative stuff. I think the administrative stuff is done by the civil servants. I think what the minister brings is policy direction.
Right.
Policies come from the political class, as it were, because this government, you were voted into office based on your agenda. So your minister will come with the policy and tell the administrators, the civil servants, hey, look, we were voted into office to implement these things. So you help me implement it. This is why civil servants are neutral, because another party could win tomorrow and they come with maybe an opposite of what the previous government had done, and you, the civil servant, you help him. Whatever the winner of the elections, whatever he was to implement,
government
you
policies.
help him. That's it. Government policies and the civil servants, they help you implement it. You know, stuff like that. So, administrator, that is not the minister at all. It's not for him to do that. So this is the key. I don't need to be an expert in defense or anything like that for me to be a brilliant minister.
Right.
You know that. In fact, you go to Britain, they move them around, and we inherited, really, because of the colonial experience, similar stuff, really. So you can shift about ministers anywhere. I just want you to be intelligent. You can handle complex material. You have a vision of where you want to go.
Right.
You make firm decisions.
You are a good analyst of information, and you have a sound judgment. That's the key. You have sound judgment, and you'll be a brilliant minister. Never mind your background.
Wow, exactly.
That's right.
So, I mean, that is what it is, Mr. Momodou Mbodj. Thank you very much. I think we've already exhausted the time for newspaper. And, you know, it was good catching up with you this week. We will engage you again next week, inshallah.
Yes.
Yeah, so at this point, we will take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
Naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wole nyama. Imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring. Nyindung kiusel dorne si nati aleno. Ibori yela kiusel line ota. Customer care mi suti atima. Bi. Kiusel network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring. Kiusel sunu boss. Ntolenga silo walang dulia bulan noma.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool kool bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters. Every second counts. My failures, my dreams, my pain, my triumphs, they propel me forward beyond all limits.
This is QTV This Morning, and we are back again after the break. So now let's head. Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education bars performers of explicit relics, and we have Adam Jimba Job, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Programs, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Good morning, Mr. Job.
Good morning, sir.
It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure coming back to QTV.
So you want to stop the entertainment in schools?
Not necessarily entertainment, but on call for entertainment.
What is on call for entertainment?
Entertainments where the artists will be using foul language or their behavior, the way they display themselves and dance, exposing themselves and other things. Things that are not part of our culture, things that are not part of our religion. You know, we are a nation that is very much religious, and also we are cultured. And as a result, we want to ensure that the young people who are going to take over from us tomorrow are people who are very much molded in a way that will be accepted by our norms and values.
Yeah, but even not in schools. I mean, these performers are performing everywhere, and most of your students are going to those events.
That's very true. But for us, our responsibility is the school. Within the four corners of the school, that is our responsibility as a ministry. And we ensure that we try to make sure that whatever happens there is something that is accepted by society. What happens outside, there's another institution responsible, or the parents. You know, because 8 to 4 or 8 to 6, because of the double shift now, the children are under our custody. But when they're out in the streets, and they're in their houses, that is the responsibility of parents.
I want to understand what is the process of classifying, an artist as an explicit artist as far as the ministry is concerned.
I mean, if you go through our press release, we talked about things that we wouldn't accept. But I mean, it is something that is very open, and each and every individual understands what is accepted by society. You know, I cannot be on the stage and talking about things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't accept, or us as a culture, whether even if you are not a people who believe in any religion, you also understand that there are certain things that are principle as far as our culture is concerned. We don't expect people to be on stage talking about, what a man and a woman would be doing in the house, or, trying to expose your private parts, or things that, anybody who looks at it, even the children, for the first time, the first look, they will be amazed, that maybe after 2, 3 they are enticed and they would want to be cheering and shouting. But that is unacceptable by society. And it's a common denomination for everybody to understand that this is accepted, this is not accepted. It's not something that I need to preach or talk about or need to tell anybody. Any child who is age 9 and above or 10 understands what is decent and what is not decent. And that is what we do not want to be happening in our schools. People can entertain themselves. A lot of ways people have. I mean, when we were going to school, we were having entertainment in our schools. We used to invite people to play music, we dance, but there is something that is not acceptable. And these are normal things that, you don't even need to read them in the books. It's a common saying or common understanding in society that if you do it, people will sanction it and will frown at it and say, no, this is not acceptable. This is acceptable. What is good, people will agree and sanction. What is not good, they'll frown on it. And that is a common thing that everybody understands. Those are things we are saying is not accepted in our schools. But what happened outside the school, that is the responsibility of other people, not us.
So in that case, how does the ministry define explicit or inappropriate language or content as far as this ban is concerned?
I mean, I don't think it's the ministry only needing it. It's society defining it. You know, the rules of society is not MOPSI designing them. You understand? For example, stealing. We all know it's not good. Whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or you don't believe in anything, you know it's not good. And these are things you are taught from an early age.
Right.
So the rules and regulations of society is not something that you will find mostly in our law books. They're common things.
Right.
Things that they take to be criminal, then you'll have it in the law books. But things that is societal, the society mold them, prescribe them, and we learn them from day one. That's the way we are brought. You know, like a child in your house, first thing, if a visitor or a stranger comes in, children should go out. You cannot sit in the sitting room while your parents are sitting. You know, you don't find that, I mean, that in any rule book. But it's something that we learn from an early age. That if you see visitors into your house, come and greet them, excuse them. You know, sometimes it's just eye contact with the children. They understand my mom or dad is saying, I should vacate the room. Yeah.
So how does the ministry ensures that they actually enforce this ban across public and private schools?
I mean, it is very clear that all schools from ECD right to grade 12 are under the purview of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. And as a result, anything that we do not want, we'll let everybody to know that this is not acceptable. I mean, a press release has been sent out. It affects every public and private school because they are all under the purview of the ministry. Being private doesn't mean that you are independent of the ministry because the children you are teaching are Gambian children, or mostly are Gambian children, and as a result, they are subjected to the rules of the ministry. We have sent that, everybody understands. Then we have our regional offices, we have our cluster monitors, and the principals of the schools. They are also civil servants. They are answerable to the permanent secretary. So anything that he says we don't want this to happen, they have to abide by that. Otherwise, we'll implement the rules.
So in that case, will the schools be provided with a list of performers or artists that are banned, or is it the responsibility of the schools under this new directive to actually assess the artists before they actually allow them to come and perform in their schools? How is it done?
I think that's the latter is the most appropriate approach. You cannot list any because then that will become offensive.
Okay.
You know, what we are saying, this kind of attitude or these behaviors, this kind of dances are not accepted in our schools. Then if I should come to a school and say I want to perform, or the children wants to invite you to the school, the onus lies on the school administration to have a background check on that artist and then either qualify or disqualifies him to come to the school. Yeah. But if I should say Mr. Njai, Mr. then I'll be troubling people because I could be bad today, but tomorrow I can be a good guy.
Yeah.
And if I should be listed on a ban unless and until that is lifted, I could be affected. And just that press release could have even changed those people immediately. That, hey, this is unacceptable as society. If I go back to the school, if I want to operate in a school or perform in a school, I have to abide by this thing. So that is why we are not going into the extent of listing any artist. What we are saying, whoever is doing it, you are not accepted.
And the onus lies both private and public
both private
schools.
and public schools.
So what sanctions? Are there any sanctions or penalties attached to schools that violate these directives by the ministry?
Oh, obviously, any school that violates it, we will deal with you. Because whether private or public, like I said, they are all under the purview of the ministry, the Honorable Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, and the CEO of the ministry is the permanent secretary. So if, for example, let me use my own village, Kedjarga LBS decide to do otherwise, I mean, the head teacher is responsible because you are in charge of the school. Whoever come to the school, any visitor that enters the school should report to the head teacher's office before anything. And therefore, anything happening in the school is the responsibility of the head teacher to say yes or no. If you should accept Mr. Job to come and do otherwise, then we are dealing with you.
What are the sanctions?
No, it depends on the gravity of the situation. You know, you can be suspended, you can be, and the most thing is that you'll be relieved of your responsibility immediately.
The principals?
The principal, the head, whoever does it, that should be the first thing we'll do. And then what come next, depending on how you arrive at that, what enticed you or motivated you to, and if the investigation will be correct, and whatever the report says, then we can continue along those lines.
Wow, then the ministry is definitely taking a very a harsh step to stop this. I mean, I think it's important. When you look at the type of contents that we now sing, I mean, the explicit content, the explicit music that most of our youngsters think, if you do this, that's the time people realize. You understand? I feared because even my kids at home, you will hear them singing certain things, and you will realize, okay, they got this from someone. And stopping it, I think it's a wise idea. And it's a bold step. You know, we cannot do it as parents, but the ministry can step in and help parents to make sure this thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I mean, the ministry has a heavy responsibility. And sometimes, as leaders, you must take the bull by the horn. It may please some, it may not please others, but that is your responsibility. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even who created us, not everybody accept or worship him. So it's the same. You cannot take a decision as a leader that everybody will accept or will appreciate or will say, yeah, it's a good one. But you have to take it for the interest of the country. The interest of the majority supersedes my personal interest. We're looking at the children of this country who are supposed to tomorrow take the mantle of leadership in this country. And if they are not molded properly, if they are not brought up properly, we are doomed as a country. And we don't want that. We don't want to be in our graveyards and then, you know, our children are messed up. How do we? We are brought up, use culture. We know there's a lot of interference or influences. But, you know, as much as we accept those kind of influences and interference in our cultural beliefs and way of life, we need to protect ourselves. You and I, when we were young, we dare not to talk to our parents. And if it challenge or say otherwise, but children of today, I mean, with this Western culture, can even tell you that you're telling lies. Sorry for my language. You know, you and I dare not to in our lives. I mean, that was something that doesn't exist in your vocabulary. But today, do we have to allow those kind of things to creep into our society to a level that tomorrow you can say this and your own child stand up to say, no, Dad, you are doing this? No, that's not acceptable.
And if
we give them the freedom, we allow them to interact.
And if we do not stop it, we are getting there.
Almost there.
Too much of, okay, it's my right. I have the right to do this. I have the right to do that. We are getting there very soon. If we do not stop it, we are going to see it very soon.
That's very true. And the issue is right goes with responsibilities. But we teach only rights today and forget about the responsibilities. And if you have more rights than responsibilities, you have a difficult society. And that is why we need to work as a nation to ensure that we nip it at the bud now.
So before this directive came into effect, was there any holistic approach being done? Was there consultations done? Because critics of the ministry are saying that the ministry acted only when, you know, there was chaos, social media was flooded with messages to condemn this particular artist that actually started this issue.
No, I mean, people don't understand. And like I said, to lead and to take decisions, always you need to be very strong. Social media, we don't have control of that. That is beyond us. This happened few months or years ago. I can fully remember, and the videos were sent to me, and I saw it to my permanent secretary and honorable minister. Immediately, we called the head teacher. They started refuting. No, we didn't do this. This were children. I said, okay, to give you the benefit of the doubt for this time around, we will. But then we send a message to all regional directors to inform schools that this kind of things are not accepted. That was at the ministry level. Maybe the public didn't know about it because at the time we thought it's just happening, we're seeing it. We have cautioned the people concerned that let this not happen again. Then we said, okay, it's fine. But it reoccurred again. Then it's necessary to make a public statement or press release for everybody to understand that this is not something the ministry is condoning. It had happened once. We cautioned the people concerned. We called them to book. And they, you know, they refuted, but after sometimes they accepted responsibility and apologized. And that's human nature. It will never happen again. But if it has recurred, if we should allow it to go this time...
Is it the same individuals that you cautioned?
I think the lady is the same. The girl is the same girl, the same girl. But for that, how we don't have any business with that. It's the school leadership that we are called to book. I don't want to name the school. You know, we're called to book and ask them that this is unacceptable. You cannot see this kind of things happening in your school. At first, the leader wanted to refuse. We said, no, that's the evidence here. Only we have the video. Then he accepted and apologized, and he said, it's okay. Now, if it happens again, it's necessary now to make a general statement for everybody to understand that this is...
Yeah, you know, they are... yes, go ahead.
Sorry. So sustainability aspect, because not long ago we were talking about the issue of coming up with directives, coming up with policies, but implementation is a problem. What assurance can you give to the public, especially parents, that this particular directive, it's going to be a sustainable one?
First of all, anything is sustainable if the people responsible are ready to have it sustainable. Because the school is a three-faceted prone. You have the teachers, you have the parents, you have the ministry. And when I say teachers, I'm talking about the school environment. You know, the parents need to support, the schools need to support, and the ministry then be able to enforce. Otherwise, every day we'll be firefighting. And we don't want to be doing that. Today is Kejarga, tomorrow is Munjagen, the next day is Tambana. No, we cannot be accepting that. It has happened in Kejarga, we have said it has to stop.
It has to stop, yeah.
If anybody should do it again, it's deliberate, and then the necessary action should be taken against this person. If we then also are blindfolded with the issue of this maslaha, which is a common problem.
That's what I wanted
then
to
we will
comment.
not be able to.
Yeah,
But as a ministry, as of now, we are ready to make
Mr.
sure
Job,
that
there are things that you know we can masla. There are things that you know it's a no
I
way.
totally agree.
Especially when it has to do with the future of our nation.
Right.
We shouldn't. You see, for us, when we are much younger, we are not even brave to mention certain things.
Good.
When we say certain things, we'll feel like we are doomed. Like, what's happening? We are doomed. In fact, you are not even mad to talk about it.
True.
You know. But I think it's a positive step. Our younger generation needs to be disciplined. They need to be strengthened, because that is the only thing that will benefit them. A child will never know until when he grows. When he is a big man or a big woman, that's the time we realize, okay, these people were trying for me to be taking the right way. So I think it's now that you have to realize. When your dad was beating you to go to school, when your mother was forcing you to go to school, you will never know until when you grow.
Yeah, that is what is said in Wolof.
Correct. Correct.
That's the
Correct. Correct.
That's the
So on another development, the stabbing
incident, yes, but before the stabbing incident, I think I have final question regarding this issue.
Okay.
That is with regard to the ministry. Will they eventually develop a guideline, you know, as part of reforms to actually ensure that there are acceptable standards with entertainment and cultural content for students?
Oh yes, we already have one that need only to be looked into and validated. We're talking about, I mean, including dress code and those kind of things. Because these are things that are emerging in our schools now. So we're really working on guidelines, how to address all of them, inshallah. Very soon they'll be validated, and then we'll make them public.
So yes, Balde, you were talking about the stabbing incident.
A matter of discipline still. I mean, it is alleged that, I mean, a student stabbed a female, a teacher stabbed by a female student.
At Yunus English School in Busumbala.
Unfortunately,
of this
I just saw it on the social media, and I don't want to go deep or dive deep into it. I would just said it's very unfortunate, uncalled for. We wish the teacher a speedy recovery and allow the rest to be taken by the appropriate authorities.
And
So I
what
learned
the
that the girl
appropriate
is
authorities?
currently. I learned the girl is under police custody. Police need to do their investigation, and then because I don't want to go into something that I don't have much.
So we should have known, okay, what exactly leads to the stabbing, and how serious is the stabbing, where was the teacher stabbed, you understand, those are things too that are very, but we will try to establish that, maybe with the police PRO, we'll be able to engage him on the program. So for now, the ministry, I believe there will be a press release from your end in connection with this as well.
Yeah, I mean, the press release, all we will be doing, we will, for us, definitely condemn the act if it is true, because we're just showing it on social media, like I said. I'm sure the regional office would be ready to work on giving us a comprehensive report about what they know about it. But then, based on that, for now, we will just not really go into it. What we will say is something that is unacceptable, it's uncalled for.
Yeah.
What leads to it is something that I said.
I think they should also look at the state of mind of the individual that did that. Sometimes,
that's how I say, let's allow the authority to do the
sometimes
right
we just do certain things or try to take steps while you don't know what the student have gone through too. Maybe mentally she is not stable too. All those things authorities should take a look at it. So thank you very much, Mr. Job, for talking to us on QTV this morning. And we hope all these policies and, discipline towards our schools, we will definitely achieve it together. Exactly. Because teachers are the parents of students once they are at the school, you understand? So it's important we see the school as our homes too. Yeah, so Julde, this is all we have for this morning. Okay. We'll be back here again on Monday for another edition. Yeah, so
from us.
until then, bye-bye.